Hi gang, it's Blake again. I figured that right now, since I'm not so worried about editing, that I have plenty of time just to kind of come in and record some stuff for y'all and send that out, since I don't have to worry about making it look, more interesting and all that just yet. So I'm gonna do that, and today I'm going to, there were a couple of things that I wanted to make this video for. I wanted to address a little bit of the feedback that I got from yesterday, which was already amazing. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I also wanted to go over a little bit real quick or as quick as I can, some of the medical issues that I've had, because I want it to be pretty clear that what I'm talking about is a serious issue. And so I want to take a little bit of time, and I may have to make another video later or several throughout the course of this thing, just to make it pretty clear or address whatever you guys want to know more about. But I definitely want to give you some insight into what I've had to go through, like, medically. So first, I wanted to talk about some of the feedback, and I'm not going to use anybody's names right now, or probably ever, because I don't want to cross that line with people, and I want to give you your privacy. But I got yesterday, someone had mentioned how my demeanor still comes across as like the English teacher or whatever, and I just wanted to, while I have that in mind, to kind of go over some of the things that I wanted to clarify, but just to go over with you again. So I'm gonna try not to go into full teacher mode, but I yesterday got to spend, it was really amazing. I appreciate it. I got to spend a lot of time talking to people just individually who came to me after watching this, and left me some messages about how helpful this is going to be for a lot of people, how proud of me they are for doing it. Shared just some personal stories, which was all great, and I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that, because again, that's the reason that I'm doing this, is to help people and to help you guys, to maybe get a little bit of clarity, or to understand where things can go, what different situations can lead you toward. And so again, I appreciate that. It was way more than I thought it was going to be. It kept me up for most of the night, just trying to keep up with everybody. And then I wanted to also encourage you guys to, well, again, let me start by saying that I called this a project yesterday, this project that I've been wanting to do, because I do have an end goal in mind, which is obviously to help as many people as I can with this. So it's a project, because in that I mean that it's going to take some work to get this out to people who need it, and I can already tell that it's impacting some people, because of what they've said to me. So by saying that, I just want to mean that I will keep updating on Facebook for a little while every time that I post something, but it's important to me also that we get people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's the way that this spreads. That's the way that people can search, and that's the way that this video or these videos will show up in the searches, is if there's more interaction with the platform itself. So if people are going through YouTube, if they're subscribing, if they're liking the video, if they're leaving comments, this is going to encourage YouTube to show these videos to more people. And I get that, there's honestly surprisingly more people than I realized who don't really have a familiarity with YouTube. So it's really easy to sign up. I mean, if you have a Gmail account, you can use your Google just to sign you right in, and immediately you've got an account. Um, but if you don't want to do that and you want to be totally anonymous, I mean, remember, this is online, so you can create an account and be whoever you want. No one has to know who you are in order for you to participate in this and ask your questions and to like the page, or to subscribe to the channel, to like the video. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can be as anonymous as you want, or you can come in as your full self and be okay with that. It doesn't matter at all. But I want to encourage you to do that, to just make an account. It's simple, it's so easy. And then you'll be, if you subscribe to this channel, like the videos, you can hit the I think pretty much everything is in red, just using my memory. The subscribe button is definitely red. The notifications, there's a button somewhere where you can hit that and be notified every time that there's an update to just my video if you watch nothing else, so that I don't have to necessarily post this on Facebook every time or post it wherever there are going to be other people reading, because right now there is a majority probably of Facebook people watching, because that's where I reached out to first. I also put a thing on Instagram, something on Twitter, but I don't have a big presence on Twitter at all. I mean, nor do I really have a big presence anywhere, but I'm using what I do have, and Facebook right now is going to bring in the most of that. But I don't want to have to post necessarily on every platform every time that I post a video, whenever it would be so much more beneficial to everyone if you would just create a simple YouTube account and subscribe to the channel. And then you could leave feedback, which I wanted to say too. I got some really, incredible personal stories yesterday, and so much that I couldn't really respond in the way that I wanted to all of them, because they seem to be just coming in from several different people all at the same time. And this is part of the project, or the goal of this project is to get people to talk about that. And again, you don't have to come in as yourself, but these stories that some people were telling me, as much as I love to hear it, that this could have been exactly what you needed, or what your loved one needed at a certain time, or something, or that you're encouraging me to reach out to people. All of this would be so much, as much of a benefit it is for me to know that, it would be so much more beneficial to so many more people if we could put that in the comments, so that everyone can see that as they look at this video, and publicly. Just being whoever you want to be. You don't have to mention who you are at all in order to make these comments and to connect with someone who you don't even know. And every little thing that we can do to make a connection, for me, that's the intent here, is to connect as many people as I can around the same idea. I was talking to my mom earlier today, and she had mentioned that it's so, if people could just understand how much we need each other, and just want to be there for each other, then people could get along, especially right now when it's just so difficult and everybody's so angry. And that's what it is. I mean, we're social beings. We're meant to be together in groups and to share with each other. And I mean, there are individualist beings, creatures on this planet, and there are social creatures. We are a social creature. We're meant to be this way. So the more that we can see these words and hear these things from other people, even people we don't know, sometimes it's more important to hear from people that you don't know, because you realize that it's not just something that affects you, but it's everywhere. So I just want to go back and encourage you to get to a space where you can subscribe to this page and you can comment publicly and allow other people to interact with you, and see how much you can gain from that, because it's incredible. If it's anything like the way that people reach out to me, then what you can do for each other is just as amazing, if not more so, to hear it from people all over. And it works. I mean, this is like how I've met some of the people who are huge influences in my life as far as directions that I want to go professionally. Like, I've just reached out. I've looked at their blogs and their YouTube pages and just kind of reached out to them, whether in private or on their public pages, and sometimes they've responded and it's been amazing. But even when they don't, others will, and that's just as important. So was any I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out if there was something else I wanted to say about that. I'll come back to it if so. But again, I just want to encourage as many people as possible to create an account if you don't have one, subscribe to this channel, like these videos if you like them. I'm not asking you to do anything that you don't want to do, or you don't have to comment. I'm just saying, but that's the end goal of this, is to help people, and that's the vision that I have for it. That's the way that I would like for it ideally to go. But again, I do appreciate everybody who's telling me their own stories and situations. It's incredible, and it's proof that what I'm intending to do with this is working, is going to work, in whatever capacity that might be. Okay, so I want to leave that. If you have any questions about that, again, just put it in the comments, and I can help you get your account going or whatever. It's easy to figure out, but these are just simple things that anyone can help you with. The next thing, I wanted to start to go over some of the medical history that I've had since I got this diagnosis. After posting this video yesterday, I was able to, I'm sitting in a park, like a rec center, so if I keep looking off in random directions, that's because something caught my attention and I don't know how to respond. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, since I got this diagnosis, some of the things, because I was looking at I found two especially other blogs yesterday, or vlogs, after I posted this one. And one, I went to look at this guy, and I mean, it was shocking the way that he looked. I mean, it was shocking. And then I looked, and it was like, this video was 2 years old, and I was like, okay, I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to go back and go to this guy's channel and check on him. And so I went to the guy who had posted the video, and just several months afterward, there were other videos of people on there leaving tributes and things. So apparently this guy had passed away within that time. And I mean, it was really tragic and eye-opening at the time to see that, and to basically know what it is that he's going through. But for him, to see the hopelessness almost, and I'll get into what I mean by that. But then there was a second lady's vlog that I saw, and she was also diagnosed with end-stage cirrhosis, and she seemed pretty down, and was talking about the things that her doctor had said, and how she went into this complete shutdown, and she thought that it was basically it for her. Like, her doctors didn't give her a good outlook, and she took that and she basically lived that, and she was watching as it happened. And then she decided, like, I'm not going to go out this way, I think, were her words. And so she kind of turned things around, and I was like, okay, well, now I got to go check on her. And so I went to her channel and sent her some comments and stuff, and try to get something going with her. She hasn't responded back yet, but she was doing okay, and she looked great in her last video, so I was like, okay, this is good. But what I need to do now is let people know the things that I've been through, because I realized as I was watching him and her in the condition that she was in, and the way that I come across right now, they look like total extremes. I mean, to look at me now, I see it, and I'm sure that you guys see it too, just in the way that, like, I'm still pretty thin, like around in here. I've lost a lot of my muscle mass. My eyes have kind of sunken back because there's not a lot of just mass there to push things forward, or at least in appearance anyway. But this is a huge improvement from what it was. So let me just go back to that briefly. The first times that this started making itself known, like physically, I'm not gonna try with dates, but I'll try my best to do the timeline right. I was still teaching at the time, and I was like just gaining weight. It seemed like so much in my stomach, like my shirts weren't fitting the same, and I just was like, okay, I'm just like bloated, and I just feel gross, and like I would go, and kids, of course. One day, like, I remember this one kid very clearly was like, "You look pregnant." And I was like, okay. But I mean, how do you respond to that? I was like, well, I have no idea what I said. It could have been something sarcastic, or I could have ignored it completely. I don't know. But that's kind of the situation that was happening. Like, I was just gaining all this weight just in my stomach. And I was like, okay, this can't really be good. So I started like Googling things, and I knew that if anything, it was going to be related to drinking, because my drinking had increased a lot. Actually, no, this goes back further, quite a bit further than that time, because it was over the summer. Okay, I'm getting my timelines all mixed up. Let me start this over. In the summer of 2018 was when I was diagnosed. But I've been drinking so much and kind of so heavily for so long that the cirrhosis probably started sometime quite a while back. I just hadn't been to a doctor to address it, or noticed that maybe I should go do this until 2018 in the summer, because I was bartending at the time, and this girl who worked with me, I went into work one night and we were outside, and she was like, "Your eyes are really yellow." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's weird. Like, I don't," and she's like, "Yeah, like super, like I want to take you to the emergency room, yellow." And so I took like pictures, like looking to the sides and stuff, and then I went back inside and I looked, and I could see like the yellow in the sides of my eyes, like where she was talking about. It hadn't taken over everywhere, but it was definitely on the sides, which anybody who knows about liver problems, jaundice comes from your liver not working the way that it's supposed to. And jaundice is the yellowing of the skin and the eyes, and like fingernails, things like that. But it's basically because your liver produces this thing called bilirubin, but if it's not able to break all of that down and cleanse it out of the body, then it just builds up. And that's where the yellowing color comes from. So it's a sign that your liver, so people who have hepatitis, anybody with any kind of liver disease, if it's substantial enough, you're going to see it in the coloring. And again, remember, I'm not a doctor. These are just things that I've learned along the way. I know that I have doctor friends, so if anybody also is hearing me say anything that's maybe not correct, or you want to clarify a little better, you can leave that down in the comments, and that's the perfect way and time to do this. But So I noticed that that was happening, and at this time I was also sometimes like noticing them that I was like just gaining weight just kind of in my stomach, because I was pretty used to wearing like kind of tighter shirts and um, t-shirts and things like that, where we pretty much had free range on what we wore to a degree. But it got to the point where I didn't like to tuck it into like the little apron that I was wearing, so I would just leave it out because I was getting a little pooch over things which I didn't care for. And so that's when I first noticed, whenever she had mentioned, and I keep meaning to go to her, and I see her pop up on like Facebook every now and then, but I really keep meaning to go and reach out to her personally for saying this, because she is the catalyst for what made me go to the doctor that night. So I had just gotten to work that day, and then I went and talked to my boss at the time. I was on the verge of a breakdown, and one, because I had been drinking, of course, just like every day. So my emotions were off, my mental state was not good. So like I went to him and I was just like, so and so just came up to me and mentioned that my eyes were so yellow, and like that I should probably go to the emergency room. So I really like I need to go. I need to go home, and I need to go to the hospital. And so like it took a little more explaining, but I was like, I mean, this is what I'm going to do. So this is how it's going to happen. So I went home. They were understanding in the end. I went home. Talked to my sister, who we decided was going to take me to the ER, but I needed some time. I wanted to take a shower, and I wasn't quite ready, because I didn't really like, I had a feeling, but I didn't really know, because before this I had been Googling things like, why am I putting on this weight? And of course everything comes kind of pointing fingers back at drinking and liver problems. And I was determined to find like something else. I'm like, okay, well, what else could it be? Even though like in the back of my mind I knew that that's what this was. So I was getting myself ready to hear this news that I wasn't really prepared to hear, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be. What I also needed to do was go home and toss back a couple of shots so that I would be comfortable enough to go to the doctor, because this is the point that I had reached. Like I couldn't go a day without drinking. Like I needed it just to make it through a day. So I went home and did that. I realized that this is already getting too long, so I'm going to finish up this part and then I'm going to stop this video. But that may be a good place to stop, is like right after the first doctor visit. So I went home, I did what I needed to do. We went to the ER, and I kind of explained what was going on. I could tell that the doctor already kind of had an idea just from looking at me, probably could smell it on me. And she's like, well, have you been drinking a lot? And I was like, well, I mean, the last time would have been last night, which was total blatant lie. Like, I mean, because I had just done this within the last couple of hours. But I wasn't prepared to go there yet. So I told her all this, that she did blood tests, and after all of that, she came back, and like my sister, she asked if I wanted my sister to stay there. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, you can just say whatever. My sister happens to be a nurse too, so I was like, by all means, she can hear anything that you have to tell me. So she came back and she's like, okay, well, your test results are not good. Like, gonna be totally honest with you, like it's not good. Your liver numbers are all over the place, and obviously what's happening with the eyes, like all of this, and like it's pointing to liver without even testing. So then she says, and like after we ran your blood, your alcohol content, your BAC was 0.24, which is 3 times over the legal limit. The legal limit is 0.08. If you blow over a 0.08, you're considered drunk as far as driving goes. So that's the cutoff. And I was at 0.24, which is 3 times that, and I was perfectly coherent, and like this was the point where I needed to be just to function. So she's like, there's no way that you just had drinks last night if your blood's coming back 0.24 right now, unless you just drink that much. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess I just drink that much, which again, I don't think I was willing to tell her the truth there, which I get it if anyone is afraid of that, of putting that out there for people to know, but you have to do it. And I mean, once you make it known that this is a problem, then you'll feel better. And that leads to people helping and knowing where to go from there and what to do for you. But anyway, she had to eventually, she was like, we don't have the doctors here that you need. We're gonna have to send you to downtown Dallas to the big Baylor hospital, where they have specialists who can help you. So I ended up having to go that night down to Dallas and stay there for several days. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video now and kind of regroup and see how I'm gonna do this, and see if these are gonna be too long for you guys to want to pay attention to, because if so, I can break it up. Again, every time's not going to be spent with the time that I did at front, which was talking about the YouTube accounts and all of that, and how I want this to go. So usually I can just jump right into it, but I think that I have gone into teacher mode, and I'm just kind of like making sure that I get every detail, and I don't know that I really need to do that. So let me know how this video is for you, because this is just one tiny little bit. I haven't even gotten into the other health problems. So let me know if this is going to be too much. I can split this up into however many I need to, but again, this is where your feedback on here is going to count for me and for making this better. Because I get it when people come across a video that's half an hour long, they're like, click to the next one. Like, that's too much time. So anyway, again, please, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, leave some comments, tell me how you want this to go. I'm sorry that it's going too long. That's just, I'm gonna have to work on that, because once I get started, then it's hard to stop me. So let me know how it's going. I appreciate all of you guys so far who have participated in this, who have wished me good luck and sent me your encouragement, and again, for those of you who have reached out with these really heartbreaking but encouraging in a way stories, I appreciate that, and I send you all my love, and I will forever be grateful that I get to be a part of this, and that you're sharing this with me, and that we can hopefully build on this together. So like, subscribe, leave some comments, and I will get working on the next video and see how that's gonna go. for us all. So I will talk to you next time. Thanks.